don't get my hands in this.
I know, right? What do we need the hand? All right, my name's Jeremy. I'm the Marketing Communications Supervisor with Falken Tires. And this morning I have with us Brandon from DV8 Offroad. DV8 Offroad is a manufacturer of aftermarket parts and accessories like bumpers and winches even, correct, Brandon?
Bumpers, bed racks, skid plates, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the goodies that you would want for your 2024 Tacoma, Bronco, Jeep, whatever it happens to be. Great brand partner of ours, and they were kind enough to let us come out and take a look at their new 4th Gen Tacoma with like massive 45 miles on it, and let us know what it takes to make a 33-inch tire fit on an SR5 Tacoma. So welcome back to episode 2 of Will It Fit? All right, so we rolled in here, blown away. I've only seen one of these in person, and that was at King of the Hammers recently. So it was so cool to come in here into the DV8 shop, see this truck, not only see the new truck, but see it on the brand new Falken Wildpeak A T4W. So Brandon, I know we've got an LT285 7017. It's a load range E tire. This features the HD spec as well as our DuraSpec technology, which is a 3-ply tire. So that's taking it up a whole nother ply from the AT3W. So that's one of the big advantages to the AT4W. So tell me, what size did this truck roll in here on?
This came in with a 245 7017, so tiny little.
What is that, about a 31? And since we weren't quite sure what that works out to be, 30 and a half maybe? Anyway, okay. And now we're looking at a 33-inch tire. And, you know, we're going to answer the eternal question. It's going to be on every Tacoma forum, you know, for the next 10 years until they come out with the 5th generation. What is the biggest tire I can run on my Tacoma without a lift? And we have basically that answer today, right, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be variable depending on the trim level, but I mean, we were able to stuff the 285 in here and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, so speaking of trim level, this is an SR5 model. The guys here at DV8 attempted to get a TRD, held up in some kind of quality hold, so they wanted to jump on developing their new products. So we're looking at an SR5, 4-wheel drive, and with very little modifications, we got that 33-inch tire on there. So like I said, 33-inch tire, and what size are these wheels?
They're 17 by 9.
17 by 9 with a 0 offset, correct? And then it's the same lug pattern as the outgoing generation, but they did change the actual lug nut size, right?
The actual lug itself is now an M14 versus an M12 like it was before.
So a little heavier duty, right? M14, bigger than M12, so
Correct.
That's good. They did change a few things with suspension, which is why we're doing this right now with no lift. But it's great because, like I said, everybody wants to know what it's going to take to make a 33-inch tire fit on their 4th Gen Tacoma. Because we know from the past, the 3rd Gen needed a lift, maybe a little bit of a body mount chop, and to prevent rubbing, but you know, Toyota's kind of stepping up their game. So run me through what you guys did here. We know we got the 0 offset, so this looks like it sticks out quite a bit. Maybe not perfectly ideal, but maybe it helps with clearance, right?
Yeah, so with the 0 offset, it does help the wheels stick out a little bit to prevent any kind of rubbing that we may have occurred on the backside. We probably didn't have to go quite this aggressive, but I mean, with the kind of the unknowns of the Tacoma, we wanted to be more safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. So looking back here on the suspension side, you do have some room to be able to run a tighter offset wheel if you wanted to.
Okay. And so you did mention you had a little bit of rubbing. Can you kind of run us through where it rubbed and what you had to do to clear that?
So there's 3 things that we did.
Okay.
The first one was get rid of the factory massive valance, which I
yeah.
have over there if you guys want to see it. But we got rid of the factory valance by just removing some M10 bolts. That was pretty easy, but that hung down.
Yeah.
So that was going to be the first point of contact. Secondly,
I think every Tacoma owner is going to do that as soon as they get
that
the
is,
truck.
I
anyways.
mean, most people will do it when they pull it off the factory or when they pull it off the dealership lot. Yeah. So that was pretty simple to do. And then the second thing that Toyota actually kind of helped out all the owners with is there's a little cover plate, and then there's actually a factory crash bar mount back here.
Okay.
It's removed with I believe 2 or 3 17 millimeter bolts, and it actually comes back where before you actually had to chop that. The body mount chop.
Okay.
Toyota took that into consideration, and you actually don't.
They must have been reading the forums, huh?
Yeah, correct. And then
your third point of contact?
Point of contact was actually the bottom of this fender. We decided to trim a little bit because we're actually going to an event, and we wanted to be able to, without a lift, we wanted to be able to go on some trails and be able to flex without having to without having to worry about potential rubbing.
Okay.
So we decided to trim a little bit, completely optional. Doesn't have to be done.
So under normal driving circumstances, it didn't even rub on that?
It didn't. I mean, like I said, we're gonna have this flexed out pretty hard, so we wanted to be more safe than sorry.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, I mean,
then it's gonna vary with wheel offset too, right?
Gonna vary with wheel offset. It's gonna vary with, I mean, the trim level, because the SR5s are gonna be have no lift to them whatsoever, where the TRD models will have a little bit more level.
Right.
But
yeah, I think probably, I think we were talking a little bit earlier, this is a very well optioned SR5. So, if you can't afford the price of that TRD Offroad, TRD Pro, like this is a very viable option, right?
I mean, this level of SR5 would probably be pretty equivalent to some of the higher end trim levels of the previous generation. So I feel like a lot of people are going to go with the SR5.
Yeah, that's great. Any clearance issues in the back? I know the whole rear suspension is completely brand new.
No clearance issues whatsoever. We removed the mud flaps, even though they didn't have to be removed.
Okay.
We removed them just simply because it looks better.
Yeah, well, that's the second thing that most Tacoma owners are going to do is remove those mud flaps.
Yeah, and
because those things practically drag on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, but no clearance issues whatsoever. We had this flexed out, and we actually didn't touch anywhere. So
nice. Put it up on a forklift and
put it on a forklift, and that's where we I mean, we had made the decisions to trim that. Okay. Is only when we got it fully flexed out, but no issues in the rear.
And that was steel you cut, so it's going to take probably a power tool to get through it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I mean, we took off maybe less than an inch.
Oh, I know, I can see it. It's very minimal, but I think probably to your point, the average person might not have to do it. So that's a huge game changer from Toyota this time around. Basically factory 4-wheel drive SR5, and you can put a 33-inch tire on it, which was kind of what was considered the perfect tire for the second and third gen Tacoma for the longest time. And I must say this is the biggest departure or biggest change in a Tacoma since the first gen and second gen transition. This is really an all new truck. And I'm going to be excited to see what you guys can do with it out there at the event you're going to in Moab. Hopefully you can capture some footage for us and show us what these T4Ws are capable of.
Definitely.
Okay, well, you asked, will it fit? And we got your answer. Thanks to Brandon and the guys at DV8. A 33-inch tire will fit on a stock 2024 Tacoma SR5 with no lift and very minimal trimming. So leave your comments below and let us know what you want to see next. What's the next up and coming hot model you want us to do a test fitment on? And we're here, we're your guys.